In a world where we are constantly connected, it feels impossible to imagine life without social media. It's everywhere, on our phones, in our pockets, on the screens of our computers. It's become a part of our daily routine. But what if I told you that this tool which we've come to rely on is slowly but surely destroying the very essence of who we are? Today, we are going to explore the silent destruction that social media has been inflicting on our lives. And we are going to do it by focusing on 5 crucial ways that social media is quietly eroding our happiness, self-worth, and the true connections we once had. We live in a time when connection is just a click away. At least that's what we're told. We're promised that through social media we'll stay connected to those we care about, to those we've never met, and to people whose lives seem to be picture perfect. We see the smiles, the vacations, the moments of success that are perfectly framed and filtered. And for a fleeting second, we might feel something, a longing, a desire, maybe even a sense of loss. We think to ourselves, why isn't my life like that? And just like that, we're caught in a trap of comparison, a trap that pulls us further away from the real, raw, and beautiful truth of human connection. But here's the truth: what we see on social media is not real. It's an illusion. It's a digital facade created to present an idealized version of life, one that is carefully curated and strategically shared to show the world only the best, most polished moments. But behind that perfection lies something different. The quiet struggles, the unseen failures, the moments when no one is watching, and the weight of the world feels too heavy to carry. Those are the moments that make us human. And yet we rarely see those. Social media doesn't invite us to share those parts of ourselves. Instead, it asks us to curate an image of success, beauty, and happiness, one that is often far from the messy truth of our lived experiences. I want you to think about someone like Sarah, someone who fell into this trap. She was addicted to the image of perfection that flooded her feed. She saw the vacations, the achievements, the filtered smiles, and she felt less and less about her own life. She compared herself endlessly to these versions of success and began to feel like she was failing. She was surrounded by hundreds of friends online, yet she felt utterly alone. Why? Because she wasn't connecting with people. She was connecting with an image that made her feel like she was missing out on something, like she wasn't enough. But the reality is, the most meaningful connections we have are not born from perfect, curated posts. True connection is found in the moments where we let our guard down, where we share our struggles and vulnerabilities. It's in the conversations where we reveal our fears, our doubts, and our dreams. The real power of connection comes from embracing our imperfection. It's in the messy, unfiltered parts of ourselves that we connect with others on a deeper level. Social media doesn't give us that. It only gives us an illusion. What would happen if we shifted our focus from perfect images to real, authentic interaction? What if instead of comparing our lives to others, we shared our genuine selves, our highs and lows, our wins and losses with the world? What if we stopped pretending to have it all together and allowed ourselves to be vulnerable? The world would look different. We'd see people for who they truly are, not just as highlights in a feed. And we'd start to experience real connection, the kind that nourishes our souls and reminds us we're not alone. So the next time you find yourself scrolling through an endless feed of curated perfection, remember, it's just an illusion. The true connection, the real kind, comes from showing up as we are, not as we wish to be seen. How many times a day do you reach for your phone? Not out of necessity, but out of impulse. It's subtle, almost unconscious, a buzz, a ping, a glowing screen, and just like that, we're pulled in. But let's be honest, most of the time we're not checking for important messages or meaningful updates. We're looking to see who saw us, who liked our post, who commented, who approved of us. We're not just scrolling, we're searching for validation. And this isn't some harmless habit, it's a modern form of addiction, silently shaping our identities and distorting our sense of self-worth. It begins innocently. A selfie, a quote, a quick story. We post it hoping it resonates but secretly needing it to be acknowledged. Each like becomes a tiny dose of dopamine, each heart a spark of affirmation. We feel good, but not because we did something meaningful. We feel good because someone else noticed us. It's that little digital applause that makes us feel like we matter. But what happens when what happens when the likes slow down, when the comments don't come, when no one is watching? Take Jake. Just a regular teenager with a smartphone and an Instagram account. He posted pictures every day. At first it was just for fun, but soon it became something more. He started checking obsessively how many people liked his photo, who commented, how fast the numbers climbed. The attention felt good. It made him feel important. But then on the days the engagement dipped, so did his mood. His confidence started to depend entirely on the reactions of others. And without those reactions, he didn't know who he was anymore. This is not about Jake. This is about all of us. Because somewhere along the way, we allowed a number, a simple meaningless metric, to become the mirror in which we see our worth. We handed over our self-esteem to strangers, to algorithms, to fleeting moments of online attention, and it's destroying us from the inside out. We're measuring ourselves by standards that don't even exist offline. We've traded authenticity for approval, traded connection for comparison, and traded peace for performance. We are living in a world where silence feels like rejection, and invisibility feels like failure. But the truth is, our value never came from the approval of others. It never did. It was always within us. It's time we remember that. It's time we unplug from the illusion that validation is out there and start rebuilding the courage to find it within. Because the most powerful kind of validation isn't public, it's personal. It's not the world telling you that you matter. It's you believing it even when no one's watching. There was a time not long ago when being in a room full of people meant something. It meant laughter that wasn't rehearsed, conversations that weren't filtered, and moments that didn't need to be documented to be remembered. It meant eye contact, body language, and the shared silence between words that communicated more than emojis ever could. But slowly, subtly, and almost without us realizing, something changed. Technology gave us tools, and those tools promised to bring us close. But instead of connecting us, they began to build walls. Silent, glowing walls that we willingly hold in our hands. Imagine a family sitting down to dinner, a sacred time, once reserved for bonding, storytelling, and reflection. The clatter of utensils, the aroma of a home-cooked meal, the energy of being physically together. Now imagine that same scene, but with a dim blue light casting shadows across everyone's face. The glow of screens replacing the warmth of human interaction. Fingers swiping, eyes fixed on a digital world, while the real one slips away unnoticed. That's not a dystopian future. That's our present. It's not that we don't love the people we're with. It's not that we don't want to connect. It's that we're distracted. We've been tricked into thinking that a notification is more urgent than a conversation, that a like is more valuable than a smile, that a retweet carries more weight than a heartfelt compliment spoken aloud. We've been conditioned to believe that more connections mean deeper relationships. But what we've actually traded for that illusion is the richness of real, unfiltered, vulnerable connection. Think about Emily, a bright, thoughtful woman surrounded by friends at dinner. Laughter echoes around her, stories are being told, but she's staring at her phone, answering messages, checking social media, half nodding in response to questions she barely hears. She thinks she's multitasking. She thinks she's staying engaged with everyone, but in reality she's nowhere at all. Not fully in the room, not fully in the digital world, just suspended in between, absent from both. What she misses in that moment can't be measured, because what she's missing isn't data, it's light. These moments, these small, fleeting, human moments, are the threads that weave the fabric of our relationships. The laugh that comes after a terrible pen, the glance of concern when someone shares something painful, the way someone finishes your sentence because they know you so well. You can't download those experiences. You can't archive them in a cloud. And once you miss them, you can't get them back. We now live in a world where it's entirely possible to be surrounded by people and still feel utterly alone. We scroll through curated lives, comparing ourselves to images that were carefully selected and filtered to perfection, and we feel less than. We feel like we're the only ones struggling, the only ones who aren't happy, successful, productive, or photogenic. In chasing that illusion, we stop showing our true selves to those around us. We retreat. We engage in performative connection rather than authentic relationship. And the cost of that is devastating. Because when we stop being vulnerable, we stop being real. When we stop being real, we stop being seen. And when we stop being seen, we begin to feel invisible, even to the people sitting right next to us. It's no wonder depression is rising. It's no wonder loneliness has become an epidemic. We were never meant to do life alone. And yet with every tap, every swipe, every minute we spend scrolling instead of speaking, we're slowly drifting away from each other. It's not about demonizing technology. It's about waking up. It's about recognizing that we have every moment we choose our phones over our families, our feed over our friendships. We're choosing something less. We're choosing convenience over connection, quantity over quality, noise over meaning. The power is in our hands. Literally, we can choose to put down we can choose to be fully present. We can choose to ask deeper questions, to listen more intently, to notice the people around us in their fullness, not just in pixels. We can reclaim the art of conversation, the beauty of shared silence, the comfort of knowing someone is really there with you, not just as an avatar, but as a human being. If we want to build a world that feels less lonely, It starts at the dinner table. It starts with walking into a room and keeping your phone in your pocket. It starts with saying, "Tell me about your day," and really meaning it. It starts with letting someone know with your full attention that they matter more than whatever is happening on a screen. Because the truth is, the people in your life, the real ones, are irreplaceable. No algorithm will ever replicate the feeling of being truly known. No notification will ever be as important as your child's laughter, or your partner's voice, or your friend's story told face to face. It's easy to forget how powerful presence is, but presence is everything. It's the root of empathy, the foundation of trust, the birthplace of love. When we're truly present, we're saying, "You matter. I see you, I hear you, I'm with you," and that's all most people really want. So let's not waste another dinner, another conversation, another chance to look someone in the eye and remind them that they're not alone. Let's not allow our screens to steal from us the one thing we can never get back. Because while social media promises to keep us connected, the only real connection worth having is the one that looks someone in the eyes, listens without distraction, and loves without condition. That's the connection we're built for, and it's time we fight to get it back. Let's be honest with ourselves. We are in the middle of a silent crisis. It's not loud. It's not visible, but it's eroding our well-being from the inside out. The decline in mental health isn't just a statistic. It's a shared experience, a weight we carry quietly while trying to keep up appearances. Social media, once a tool to connect and inspire, has evolved into something far more sinister. It whispers constantly in our ears, telling us we're not enough, we're not doing enough, and we're not living enough. Every swipe, every scroll reinforces the illusion that everyone else has it figured out, that they're happier, more successful, more love. And in that illusion we lose ourselves. We've built a world where likes and followers are mistaken for self-worth, where curated photos become benchmarks for happiness, and where the pressure to perform never sleeps. It's no surprise that anxiety and depression are on the rise. We are overdosing on comparison and starving for authenticity. The University of Pennsylvania conducted a study, one that barely made headlines, yet its results are profound. Limiting social media to just 30 minutes a day led to significant improvements in well-being. Think about that. 30 minutes. That's all it took to feel less alone, less anxious, more whole. If that isn't a wake-up call, I don't know what is. Take James, a bright, driven young professional with everything going for him. Yet somewhere along the way, the endless stream of tweets and Instagram stories began to wear him down. At first it was subtle. He'd laugh at a meme, double tap a photo, read a post. But over time it turned into something else, a gnawing emptiness. He'd look up from his phone and wonder why he didn't feel as happy as everyone else seemed. He felt behind, like life was happening without him. That silent, invisible pressure seeped into his daily routine, his sleep, his confidence. And slowly the person James used to be, the person who was content, creative, present, began to fade. This isn't just James's story, it's ours. We're all navigating this digital maze, trying to hold on to some sense of self while the world tells us to be someone else. But here's the truth. We don't need to chase perfection. We don't need to keep proving our worth through pixels and posts. What we need is space. Space to breathe, to be bored, to be real. We need the courage to disconnect so we can reconnect with what truly matters. Because our peace, our mental clarity, our emotional health, they're worth fighting for. We cannot afford to hand them over to algorithms. It's time we took them back. Let's talk about something that slips through our fingers every day. Not just the ticking of a clock, but the precious currency of our lives. Time is the one resource we can't replenish, can't buy more of, and can't rewind. And yet we treat it like it's endless. We hand it over willingly to things that offer little in return. Social media, this glowing, buzzing, endlessly refreshing vortex, doesn't just steal our attention. It steals our days, our dreams, our purpose. It convinces us that connection can be measured in followers, that validation comes in likes, and that our worth is tied to views. But when the screen goes dark, what's really left? Think of Mark, not a celebrity, not a trendsetter, just a guy with a gift. He painted with a passion that lit up his whole world. His art gave him purpose, expression. But one small decision after another, one video after another, and the days began to drift. What started as harmless scrolling became a habit. A year passed, an entire year, and that beautiful gift, the one that used to wake him up early and keep him up late, with excitement, sat in the corner collecting dust. The world didn't take his passion, he gave it away. 10 minutes at a time, one scroll at a time. And Mark isn't alone. There's a bit of Mark in all of us. The writer who hasn't written, the musician whose guitar sits silent, the entrepreneur with a notebook full of ideas and no action. We tell ourselves we're too busy, but what we really mean is we're too distracted. We're choosing noise over meaning, comparison over creation, Digital crumbs over real connection. And the cost, it's not just lost time, it's a lost sense of self. We forget what we used to love. We forget what made us feel alive. We only get 24 hours each day, the same as everyone else. But the question isn't how much time we have. It's what we do with it. Are we spending it? Or are we investing it? Are we filling it with things that light us up? Or draining it into devices that leave us empty? Because every time we pick up our phone out of habit instead of intention, we make a choice. A choice that echoes far beyond that moment. You were not put here to scroll through someone else's life. You were put here to live your own, fully, boldly, meaningfully. It's time to remember that purpose doesn't wait for us to finish one more video. Passion doesn't bloom while we compare ourselves to strangers. Life isn't found in a feed. It's found in moments we create. When we stop scrolling and start living. So ask yourself, right now, what are you willing to trade your time for? Let the answer guide every choice from here on out. Social media is not inherently evil. It can connect us, inform us, and even entertain us, but it's up to us to choose how we engage with it. Right now, we're being manipulated by algorithms that keep us hooked, distracted, and emotionally drained. We're trading our mental health, our real relationships, and our time for a world that doesn't truly exist. But here's the good news. We can take control. We can reclaim our lives. We can set boundaries, limit our usage, and begin to focus on the things that truly matter. Our real relationships, our passions, our health, and our peace of mind. It's time to disconnect from the noise and reconnect with what truly makes life worth living. So I ask you, what kind of life do you want to live? The one defined by likes and followers, or the one defined by meaning, purpose, and authentic connection? The choice is yours.